And yes, indeed, you are listening to Behind the Lens. And thank you for that, Jar Jar Binks. A perfect opening after this perfectly delightful Star Wars weekend. I'm Debbie Elias, film critic, creator, and host of Behind the Lens. You can find me around the globe and print and online 24/7 with movie reviews, interviews, and on YouTube with red carpet interviews and videos of behind every show for Behind the Lens. And every Monday you can find me right here with my trusty cohort, Brian Leone, at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on adrenalineradio.com and our sister station, adviceradio.com. So welcome this week before Christmas. It is the week before Christmas, is it not, Brian? You're wearing your ugly Christmas sweater, and you took off your light bulbs.
Yeah, the reason I took off my light bulbs, I'm a little louder than you there. All right, there we go. The reason I took off my light bulbs is because they're really they're noisy. Here, I will.
Your light bulbs are noisy.
I'll show you.
Oh, Brian is going to give us a sound effect. Well, that's if you're jingling the things.
Well, yeah, but look around my neck. Look. Oh, you know what? I'll keep wearing them then.
Turn them on. They blink.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking of actually I'll run in there and hang them up on one of the reels over there as soon as I get a chance over here. Just because me wearing them and then describing them to the audience does nothing for them.
Well, yes, they do need the full effect.
They do. So while I am in there,
and I do not wear light bulbs.
While I go do that, I will leave you with this.
Well, a lovely Christmas interlude.
I have a really nice one. Here we go.
All right, fine.
This is my favorite, so I'm going to go in there and change it up.
Okay, come on. So, listen to this musical interlude while Brian takes off his headphones, puts on his Santa hat, or his Steelers hat. And let's see. Can we do it? Maybe. Oh, you should have put it on the top one instead. It'll show up better on the camera. Okay, look at this. Yes, we are live, people. Live with shenanigans today. And for those of you, today is an exciting show, actually. We have a guest I'm so looking forward to having. I have interviewed his sister before. You've heard excerpts of that interview on Behind the Lens. BEN RAUCH, actor, singer. Ben he was one of the Four Seasons in Clint Eastwood's Jersey Boys. Ben has a new single out called Jersey Christmas and a music video. This is all a precursor to his wonderful debut album that comes out next year, Tales from the Turnpike. So I can't wait to have Ben on, and we actually have permission that we get to play his song. So that'll be coming up shortly. Unfortunately, we were also going to have filmmaker Vanessa Hope with us to talk about her documentary, All Eyes and Ears, looking at the relationship between the U.S. and China following. It was a multi-year journey as she followed U.S. Ambassador John Huntsman, his daughter Gracie May, and the Chinese legal advocate who was under house arrest in China, eventually sought asylum with the U.S. Embassy, Shen Guangchen. Unfortunately, she is stuck in midair today on a flight, so she won't be joining us, but we're going to reschedule Vanessa as soon as we can, because in this very polarizing political time and in light of recent events between the U.S. and China and President-elect Trump's tweeting habits, I think Vanessa's going to have some interesting things to say about her documentary, which, by the way, she recut after the presidential election. So she is more than timely with her material, and it is a very worthwhile documentary. You can get it now, so anybody that has a chance, see All Eyes and Ears, but we'll let you know when we get her rebooked when she's on the ground. But in the meantime, so what was this weekend, Brian?
What was this weekend was December 16th, 2016.
Yes.
The McRib is back.
The McRib is back. That's not what I was looking for.
Oh, that's what I'm excited about.
Well, fine.
Well, we finally, all of us, because I in my podcast, we do box office reviews, and Just to kind of cross the two shows together, just real quick. I'm not even going to give my name unless you want me to give my.
Yes, and Brian's show is Nothing in Particular podcast, and I pop up on there on occasion with him.
Yes, and we do the countdown of the box office, and just real quickly.
Yes.
I mean, Rogue One in 3 days has made $155 million.
Yes, but I know what the entire international take is.
Do you? I haven't looked at it. Hang on, let me see what we're doing here. Okay, I am opening up the page for the international.
Should I tell
market.
you?
You tell me, and then I won't believe you.
290 million.
290.5 million. Oh. So it's another $500,000, which is different. You know, $500,000 makes a difference to me.
It does.
In my life, it actually
does.
I was there. I didn't get to do midnight screening because I'm responsible and I'm here on Friday mornings. But I did go to watch. So you went to go watch it also, right?
I've seen it 3 times already.
Is that screeners or you paid for it?
No, I actually paid because they had, semi-super secret press screenings on one day last week. I was here doing the show live, so could not go to those.
Sorry.
They had one more, and I tried to make it, and after 2.5 hours driving to get there, my transmission, don't ever buy a Ford Focus, people. That's all I can tell you. Worst transmission problems in the world, and I get an error message and little red lights and bells going off saying transmission overheating, hot, pull over safely, wait 5 minutes.
Pull over safely.
The only problem is when you're stuck in a traffic jam, there is nowhere to pull. So that was exciting. So I did not make it to see it. So I actually, like the rest of the people in the world, I paid to see the 7 o'clock show in 3D Thursday night. Then I had to go back Friday morning.
You had to.
I had to.
You have to go back. And then you're probably going to go back a couple more times.
Oh, then I went back again on Saturday.
You did.
I did.
I didn't get a chance to go back, but I am going to go watch it again because it's one of those movies where there is so much going on in the foreground that you miss what's going on in the background.
Yeah, I've seen something new each of the 3 times I've seen the film.
And we won't talk about it plot-wise in general, but Rogue One has been out for 3 days, so get on it, get in there, because it's going to get spoiled eventually. Not on here, but
right.
You're going to read a spoiler somewhere on there.
And there are so many out there, and curiosity gets the best of people. So even everybody who's saying, spoiler alert, it's not going to stop people from reading for onward because curiosity's killing them.
I tend to post when I go watch a film, and I'm usually very vague about it. I'll give it a rating. With this one, I didn't. I just said, I even put in my caption, no spoilers, because somebody was talking about it in the comment section, and I had to delete their comment. But
which is one reason I rarely comment or even indicate when I'm screening something.
Exactly, yeah. And, I mean, we do have people on social media that we both know that just kind of abuse that situation.
Yes.
But I liked it. I think if you're a casual star, you know what I read online actually? Somebody was complaining that they didn't. Where was Ray and Finn? I read that comment on a Facebook post, and it was I thought they were trolling.
Right.
No, but it was serious. There was a lot of that going around. People, guys, girls, people. This is a prequel. This is like the if you take the 2 films, the 2 trilogies as a sandwich, this is like the lettuce in the middle.
This is before Han Solo and Princess Leia.
This is after Anakin Skywalker and young Obi-Wan Kenobi from the original trilogy, from the prequels.
After Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. So there is no Anakin Skywalker, there is no young Obi-Wan Kenobi, but there isn't any Finn
and Rey
or BB-8 or Kylo, but we are in the middle of like the Empire. So like,
yes,
I mean, I can't even talk about who shows up in this movie because it was a complete like.
It is. There are so many Easter eggs in there, and there are so many surprises, and this is something that we had talked about with Jungle Book when we were talking. I was talking about the technology and the photorealism of everything. That same level of technology has now allowed the magicians behind Rogue One, a Star Wars story, to deliver some beyond memorable gasp-worthy
Yep.
images and sequences.
There is one sequence. I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to leave it there. But let's look at the Star Wars countdown.
But we still have Star Wars Countdown.
We
yes,
do.
indeed.
And as soon as they announced the Han Solo and the, I think they're doing a Han Solo and a young Yoda.
Yeah,
movie.
As soon as we have those dates, Brian will be adding those to the Star Wars Countdown.
But for Star Wars Episode 8, we have 360 days, 12 hours, and 49 minutes to go. So that's a long time.
That's a long time. But in the meantime, we have Rogue One to see as many times as your little heart desires. Because I know that some of my TCM peeps out there, I know that you're less than enamored with it. And I'm so sad over that. But everybody, you should give it a chance. And a little later in the show, you are going to hear from my exclusive interview with cinematographer Greg Fraser, cinematographer on Rogue One, and the incredible true story of Saru Brierley, starring Dev Patel, which is in theaters now. You would not think that this man could create both worlds and lens them so beautifully. And he and I talked about that. So you're going to hear that a little later on. I'm trying to figure out if this is Ben calling in or who Brian is talking to on the phone. Who are we talking to, Brian? Do we know? Is it Ben? Oh, we do. A timely young man. A timely young man. So we're gonna take Ben a little early here, aren't we? We're ready to go. Well, what a timely young man you are, Ben Rauch.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great. It's good to be on air with you guys.
Oh, I'm thrilled to have you. By the way, how's your sister?
She's great. She's doing wonderful.
She and I had the most fun interview back in March.
Oh, that's awesome.
For her film, The Bronze, which...
Yeah.
That is still one of my favorite performances and films of the year. It is so raunchy and hilarious. She is amazing.
She is the best.
So, when Tim reached out to me about your, music career and your music video and your new song, and he goes, I know, you do film and TV. I said, but music is all part of this. I said,
yeah.
I would love to have Ben on the show.
Oh, you're amazing. Thank you.
But, and of course, you are a New Jerseyite.
Yes, I'm from New Jersey, raised from a very young age. Yeah, my parents still live there.
And that's so important. I'm from Philly, and my grandparents' house was down in Barnegat in southern Jersey.
Oh, my God.
So, that's
awesome.
There is a kinship. So when I hear somebody doing a song called Jersey Christmas, it's like right away, all right, I got to see what this is all about.
That's right. Exactly.
So this is, I have to say, I am in love, and we're going to play the song a little bit later in the show.
Awesome.
So everybody can hear it. I've seen the music video, which is it's hilarious.
Thank you.
But the song itself, it is so Springsteen, 80s Springsteen. It's fabulous.
That's what we were going for. I'm a big fan of him and Bon Jovi. Anyone that was born in New Jersey, I'm a fan of. Frankie Valli.
Well, gee, I wonder why you're a fan of Frankie Valli. I just can't imagine. I mean, here you are. Before we get into Jersey Christmas, let's talk about Jersey Boys.
Sure.
And your love of Frankie Valli and how you got cast in Jersey Boys, directed by Clint Eastwood.
Yep. So I grew up listening to a lot of music. Not that, I grew up in the 60s, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. But, Frankie Valli, it's in the Jersey culture.
Mm-hmm.
He's so amazing. I grew up singing. I grew up singing in a doo-wop group. I grew up singing in a doo-wop group in high school where we were a group of freshmen, sophomore, junior, and senior. We changed our name every year as freshmen, sophomore, junior, senior. And I was a high soprano, high tenor, that we would do all the Frankie Valli type of songs and all our doo-wop. things, and so I grew up like singing in falsetto and barbershop doo-wop things, and then as an actor, I've been in a bunch of other things, TV and film, and this movie came up, where there was auditions, and they were looking for a guy that played keyboard and actually sang and danced, and I sent in an audition tape. It was they were casting out of LA. I'm New York based, and I sent in this audition tape, and they cast me from the audition tape. I played a couple Frankie, Four Seasons tunes on the tape and sang and played, and then they, next thing I know, I get a call from my agent, and they're like, yeah, you got 5 days on Jersey Boys as one of the Four Seasons, the keyboardist singer for the Four Seasons. I was like, crazy. Get to work with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, how is that for a young actor like yourself? Because, as you said, you've got some one-offs on TV. You had a recurring role on Gossip Girl. You've had, you've got your foot in the door, and you've got a lot of stage experience. But then you get to work with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, it's surreal. I mean, because he's just been doing this for so long. I mean, he's worked with everyone and anyone, and he's a legend. And he's there, and he's there on set, and you see him, and you're like, oh my God, this is him right in front of me. And then he comes over. He's a keyboard player and musician too. He's a musician as well. He writes a lot of the scores for his movies. And he he came over to me while I was rehearsing with the keyboard music, and he said, "Oh, what key is this in? Is that it's in E flat?" And it's like, "Yeah." And he plays a chord over my shoulder. He's like tinkling with some of the chords, and it's like, "Oh my God, I'm shooting the S with Clint Eastwood."
Clint Eastwood didn't want to come on board for Jersey Christmas, though, huh?
No, I didn't ask him. He's more of a West Coast guy. He would have been. I don't know what part I would have given him.
Well, considering you picked up the Marty McFly Back to the Future look, I think that might have been an interesting look for him in the music video.
That's right. He could have been Doc. He'd be like a tough Doc. That would be Christopher Lloyd. He could do that part.
So, as an actor, how beneficial is that to you to work with somebody like Clint Eastwood? What do you learn when you work with Clint Eastwood that you can take forward to your other projects?
I think, it's the humility. I mean, he's just so, you expect him to, someone like that to be bossy and screaming and, pushing people around. That's the stereotype of a major person like that. And of course, I know from being in the industry for so long, the people that have been doing it for a long time and that are really successful are the exact opposite of that. They're giving, and they're polite, and they're generous, and they know how to talk to people. And he's just like that. The way he talks to other actors, the way he directs them, and he very often doesn't even call action. He just says, whenever you're ready, do whenever you're ready, and that's kind of a cool thing to watch, just to see his process and, learn from that myself, I'm that way myself, anyway, I'm not a power hungry guy, but it's amazing to watch him do, and he's so energetic. Like, people are yawning after 11 hours of shooting, and he's just, still right on the money, and just like fit and, awake and present.
So is that where is that why you have such boundless energy? Clint Eastwood is now your inspiration.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I love what I do. I love this. I love performing and I love creating, and that's, I think, where it comes from. Well,
I know you've always been a songwriter, because you've entered the USA songwriting competitions, the international songwriting competitions.
Yeah.
What is it that songwriting and music gives you that acting doesn't, or is it all combined into the same thing?
It's really, for me, it's all combined in the same thing. I write mostly for myself. So I write, thinking when I'm writing these lyrics and writing, which I co-wrote the song with Gabby Gold, who's one of my songwriting partners, who's phenomenal, and I wrote all the music. And when we're writing, I'm thinking, like, how am I going to present this as an actor? How am I going to communicate this? What's going to be funny? So it's really one and the same for me. People would say, "What are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm an artist. I'm an actor, singer, musician, dancer. And that, maybe in that order." And Yeah, it's really all part of the same thing. As a songwriter, you know, I get to create my own vehicle. You know, I don't have to wait for somebody else to write something that really fits me perfectly. I can create however I want, and very often I come up with things, you know, which is the greatest part of the creative process, like that I didn't think I was going to come up with. I think every artist goes through that. Like it becomes something that you didn't think it would be, and that's what's really exciting. It's like coming from another place, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ben, while we have you on the line, I want Brian to play a little bit of Jersey Christmas, and then we're going to talk about these lyrics that you came up with.
Sure.
So don't hang up.
Okay, sure.
Welcome to Christmas, Jersey style. Let me tell you how it goes. You know our Santa don't say ho, he says hey, hey, hey. He's gonna sling his gifts from Newark down the shore to Cape May. Blasting Bon Jovi out the back of his sleigh. A gang of kids yank off his beard at the mall. As we carol around the cul-de-sac, we yell, we don't sing. The bells here don't go ding-dong, they go bada bing. Oh, come all you people, we got 2 days to spare. And if you smell something rotten, it's the Delaware air. So crank up some Springsteen and play that Santa song loud. Just like a boss, you know I'm Jersey proud. Let's have an old-fashioned Jersey Christmas. Deck out in that Jersey way. Let's have an old-fashioned Jersey Christmas. Forget about our problems and leave for our day. I want that old-fashioned Jersey Christmas. Sing la-la-la in the garden stage. So take the turn like this Jersey.
And that is just a taste of Jersey Christmas. Ben, I mean, I can't help but smile when I hear that song.
Thank you. Thanks.
Now, you know, the words, very catchy. The tune is great. The lyrics are extremely catchy and very telling and so period perfect for the 80s and Jersey.
Thank you. Yeah, we loved it. We had a blast writing it.
What was the writing process for you and Gabby like?
Well, you know, first, it always starts with an idea. You know, we came up with this idea. You know, we're like, well, we got to, you know, as a songwriting team, we got to have our, you know, we have to have our holiday classic, our Christmas song, whatever it is. And maybe we'll write a Kwanzaa song next year. I don't know. There's not a lot of Kwanzaa songs out there yet. And we, you know, we just said, oh, yeah, like, we want to do a funny song because I primarily write comedy music. And so we're like, I'm from Jersey, and that people like to laugh at Jersey. And, you know, there's so much. The thing in Jersey about is, you know, the Christmas there is different than anywhere else. We kind of do it our own way. So we started, you know, just brainstorming on lyrics and like, oh, what are we going to reference? What are we going to reference? Oh, like, Easy Pass. And who's from New Jersey that, you know, that changed the world? You know, that the holidays wouldn't be the way they are if it wasn't for them. Like Edison, we mentioned Edison, and you know, Bruce Springsteen. You know, putting that Bruce Springsteen's Christmas songs on the radio and listening to that, you know, every year, and Bon Jovi and Frankie Valli and all these people, you know, and what do we eat that's different than other places, and you know, just that's the fun part, like brainstorming that and figuring that out, and then seeing how it works within a song and the style of the song, and figuring that out. And you know, Santa, like how is Santa, our Santa, different than other places? You know, our Santa doesn't say ho, he says A.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is, you know, very Sopranos. You know, very, you know, it's different. You know, so that was the process for us, and then editing it and tweaking it, and you know, making it better, and like which word, you know, is it a singular or plural, and just like every songwriter does, you know, just tweaking it to make it, you know, sparkle a bit more.
Mm-hmm. Now, what came first, the music or the lyric?
I tend to write, you know, from lyrics to music. That's just my process. I think for me, the story comes from the lyrics mostly, especially because people generally like listen to that more. I mean, they think, oh, what is this about? And it's told through lyrics. So for me, it usually comes from the lyrics. You know, I've written some music and then come up with lyrics after that. But for me, it's like 95% of the time lyrics first, and then music comes out of that.
Mm-hmm. So now, do you do your own arrangements, or do you bring in an arranger to do this?
No, I pretty much do all my own arrangements. You know, all this, the form of this song and the saxophone. I wrote the saxophone part out. You know, I'm a musician. I'm a trained musician. I read music, and so I wrote out the saxophone part, and then a lot of the style comes and the way it was mixed. Jason Agle, who's the producer on this, who worked with Beyonce and Jay-Z and John Legend and Meghan Trainor, and the list is tremendous. I'm blessed to work with this guy. He he played the guitar and bass on it and mixed it and engineered it and produced it, and there was a lot of suggestions from him as well. But Jason and I were really on the same page with a lot of things. He's from Jersey too.
Mm-hmm.
So
the sensibility is there. You need that sensibility.
I agree. Yeah, it's really important to have and even if you're sure, I feel like as an artist, even if you're sure like this is the way it's supposed to be, having another person outside of you to say, oh yeah, you're right, like just gives it confirmation and even if there's one or two things. I mean, he gave so many suggestions, but even if there's just one or two things that someone from the outside can like change and make it a tiny bit better, I think it's always good, to have that.
Mm-hmm. So now, once you got the song, obviously, and I don't think we see enough of them anymore, music videos.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that this medium. It's such a special thing, and MTV used to play videos. They used to play music videos. Same with VH1. They don't do that anymore.
I worked on over 200 music videos out here in LA early in my career. Did two albums worth either PAing or ADing on Rick Springfield videos.
No way! That's amazing.
So I have a great affection and love for music videos.
Yes. Yeah, it's specialized. I mean, I think it's like there's more of a musical type of thing coming back to the mainstream. But I think that's what it is. It's really Broadway musical theater, which I'm influenced by, and in 3 minutes, or less, So I love that. And you can go into a different world in a split second, which is beautiful.
Well, you certainly went into a different world. You went back to the future with with Jersey Christmas. How did you go about designing the music video? Did you have input into that as well, in terms of the Back to the Future theme? The DeLorean, the Marty McFly, puffy vest, and then the whole look from the Madonna teased, hairsprayed girls, to the actual, beaches. I mean, you really cover the gamut here. Yeah.
It's for me, going back in time to like the old-fashioned days is the 80s. For someone that grew up in the 80s or the 60s, and it's a different take on like the old-fashioned times, because that's really what it is for a lot of people nowadays. And I'm just a huge fan of Back to the Future. It's interesting. Michael J. Fox and I are exactly the same height, and I was actually his stand-in for a Spin City promo like a while back, and I got to meet him and Charlie Sheen and Heather Locklear, all the people that are on that, and I was like Michael J. Fox's stand-in, so it's funny, and I love that movie. It's like one of the best movies I think ever made. They studied in film school. They studied the script in film schools, and so I just wanted to, I thought that'd be fun to like go back in time for this and to have a DeLorean. You can't go wrong. I'm blessed that like a lot of people apparently in New Jersey have DeLoreans, so I was able to rent one from a guy.
How involved were you with the logistics? Because you've also got Serena Soffer as your choreographer.
Yeah, she is amazing. She's a Jersey girl too. I worked with her doing musical, like, I don't know, over 5 years ago. It's a musical called Star Nights that was on Broadway, and she was a choreographer of that. And I knew her before then. I used to take dance class, and she used to teach and take class as well. And we met taking dance class, and became friends, and then worked with each other. And then she was like my first, and I thought, like, who can do this that knows Jersey, that's going to, like, put humor into it? It was her. And then, Stephen Nakami, who, was worked on Broadway and, regional theater, and just a genius director, he came on. And then, Pat Kousoudis was the scenic designer who designed all that stuff, all those different things. And then Elizabeth Flores, who blew away the costume thing. I mean, she's unbelievable with all those 80s costumes, she got. to dress people like that. It's
Oh,
like,
come
oh my
on.
God, I can't believe we used to wear this.
Come on, you and I both know they were hanging in the closets of people, that you know. Come on, we know this.
I wish that that would have been easier. People just there were some people like some of the extras dancers, that had some stuff in their closet and they were just like, look what I have, and I'm like, oh my God, that's in perfect condition.
See, I see a perfect marriage here with you and writer-director Joe Pepitone, who's also in New Jersey. He did the film The Jersey Devil that was out
Right.
that was out earlier this year. I see a great marriage here with you and Joe working together on something.
I would love to meet him. That sounds great. Yeah, I mean, we need to bring more film work out here to the East Coast anyway.
And I
gotta,
know
get in touch with him.
and I know that Joe's working on a sequel to Jersey Devil.
Really?
And of course, it's shot where? In Jersey.
Nice. I have to get in touch with him and yeah, that's a good suggestion.
My mind is just reeling here listening to you. It's like, oh my God, this would be a perfect collaboration.
That sounds good to me. I'm down to do some more films.
How do you go about balancing everything that you're doing, Ben, between, your acting roles on stage, your acting roles, on TV and, some film, and now your music career? Because you've also got your debut album, Tales from the Turnpike, is coming out next year.
Yeah.
That takes time. You wrote a whole album and you've recorded it.
Yep.
That takes time balancing with everything else. So what's the secret for you? How do you do it?
Accepting I'm completely off balance. That's the secret. Just to accept. No, I mean, I think I just love it. It's like at the end of the day, if I work for 13, 14 hours, I think to myself, man, I got to get something done today. I really think that. It's maybe I'm a little bit crazy, but I think like, what did I do today? And then I have to remind myself, you did all these things. And I just I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop, like producing and working and developing. I love that. That's the beauty of this whole thing. But it's also, I have to ask myself what I really want to do as an artist next. There's projects that come up or I get offered and I have to say, I love that idea, but I don't know if that's the right timing for me to do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of that. And I ask people, it's like good to have people that are around and say, what do you think? And what do you think we should do on this? But yeah, I mean, the album is like first priority, getting that out. And there'll be some more music videos for that. I'm looking forward to that. And more references to Jersey. There's a lot of more references to Jersey in that album. And
well, if it's
about your Jersey diners.
If it's Tales from the Turnpike, I would hope so.
Right.
Tell me you didn't just go up and down each exit on the Turnpike or the Parkway and like just title songs. Exit 7, Exit 7A.
Right.
Exit 7, Exit 7, Fort Dix.
That's right.
Exit 7A, Great Adventure.
That's right. Oh my God, you know the girl from Exit 11.
Yeah.
Love off of Exit 12. Right. Yeah. That's a good idea. There's like just different mentions of different things in Jersey, specifically Jersey diners, because I think we do diners better than anywhere.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can get everything at the diner. There's diners that are serving sushi now. It's crazy.
Oh, when I was growing up, that was always the big treat. Down at Forked River, down at the harbor, at the marina, there was a diner. It's still there to this day. It's on Route 9. And that would be the treat on Friday night for the all-you-could-eat fried fish and Manhattan clam chowder. And my grandparents would take the four of us, and that was the real treat. You get to go to the diner.
Right.
And my dad grew up with a great affection, for the diner. And I know some people may find this crass, but when my mother passed away, after the services, my father had everybody gather for a luncheon at the diner.
Nice. Yeah.
It's a very East Coast, Jersey, Philly thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. The dinner specials. I was in Jersey like last week, and I went to a diner with my friend, and I was like, and I was like, can you get soup and salad with this, and a side dish, and like, yeah, and dessert too, and like all for $17. Amazing.
Oh, well, yeah, and that is the big thing. I know years ago my dad called me one day and because his regular Thursday night was going to the diner to eat. And he was very upset because they had changed the menu so you couldn't get two vegetables and a potato. You got a potato and one vegetable. So it was like the world was coming to an end.
That is serious stuff.
And because he was such a good customer, the owner said, "No, that's okay, Mr. Elias. You can still get your two vegetables and your potato."
That's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? You
But
can't like set a precedent and then break it.
so these are the kind. See, other people wouldn't get that. You understand that philosophy.
I remember that diner that did that. I remember 2 diners that did that. You know, yeah. There was one diner. I mean, the song and album is about, we have great diners and we have some not so great diners.
Right.
And it's amazing how some of the not so great diners still survive more than the great diners. And there's a song that I wrote with my sister's husband, Winston Rauch, and it's about it's called I Don't Know Why, and it's about going to a diner that every time is going to be really bad, and still you go back. And you swear the next time you won't go back again, but you end up going back. You can't help yourself. You just have to go back for some reason.
And the name of that song is what? So I know to definitely look for it on the album.
Yeah, it's called I Don't Know Why. It's one of the only ballads. It's a love-hate ballad about a diner.
Oh my God! Have you written anything about the beaches?
There was a song that Winston and I wrote together called At the Water's Edge that came out as a single about 3 years ago to help the victims of Hurricane Sandy, rebuild. We did it as a benefit.
Yeah, you were one of the performers, yeah.
Yeah, so that was our song about a beach, where, it's called At the Water's Edge and about, rebuilding after Hurricane Sandy. There's still a video on my YouTube, BEN RAUCH Music. There's still a video for that, and yeah, but everything else is really not. There's not that I can think of. There's nothing about a beach except for Jersey Christmas. I mean, we shot that at some scenes down in Asbury Park, which was beautiful. I mean, we're blessed.
What time of year did you shoot the video?
We shot it about 2 weeks before we released it. So we released it, I think, about 2.5 weeks ago, and we shot 2 weeks before that. We edited really quickly. Adam Bullrich, he was our editor, and he's just like cranked it out. He's such a pro, and so we shot it. I think we shot the day before Election Day, and then on Election Day, because we were coming back when we were starting to get results of the election. So yeah, those were the 2 days we shot. So it's like about a month ago.
And here you are talking to me today on the day the electoral college is voting.
That's right. We'll see what happens with that.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But, so what is, I got to ask you, because now you wrote Jersey Christmas with Gabby, but now you're mentioning, writing songs with Melissa's husband, Winston.
Yeah.
Do you change up writing partners a lot?
I do, yeah. I mean, I think, I write some songs completely myself, but I like co-writing lyrics. It just helps me, I think, bounce stuff off people. And so I have, Gabby Gold is one of my co-lyricists. There's another couple songs of hers on the album. And then Winston Rauch, who's my sister's husband, we write a bunch together. And then Rory Scholl, who's the other lyricist on the album, and him and I write about 4 songs on the album together. And those are my three main guys. But yeah, I like co-writing lyrics for some reason. I mean, it helps me, I think.
And music, you just want to write by yourself?
Yeah, it comes to me faster. Like the music, I just can sit with it easier by myself. But lyrics, I like having someone to bounce off words and ideas with. It's also like it's lonely. Songwriting can be lonely. I mean, some of these writers, like Stephen King, who's one of my favorites. I can't. Some of his stuff I can't read. It's too scary. But he writes for 5 hours a day alone, and I don't know. It's hard for me to sit by myself that much. I get lonely.
Oh,
yeah.
You're gonna have to write about Jersey loneliness next.
That's right. Yeah.
But
I call my mom.
But now, do you think that is also another reason why you like this constant change up with, with television and film and stage, because of being around people and the collaborative effort? But then when you want to delve into your songwriting, you do have there's that quiet space that's just yours.
Yeah. Wait, can you repeat that? We cut out for a little bit.
Oh, I was going to say, do you think that, the whole mix you have of television, film, and stage, which is very collaborative and always involving other people, but then you have this one little space for your songwriting, writing music, that one bit that is just you and you alone, that's how you balance it out?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think as an artist, actors, just acting itself, I mean, actors really like to play all different types of parts.
Mm-hmm.
Very often people get cast as like the leading man, and it's hard for them to break out of that, or the comedian. Like Robin Williams is one of my favorite actors, and he broke out of it. I mean, he did some of the best dramatic acting on film, and he's probably one of the funniest comedic actors we've ever had, alive. And, so I think it's as an artist, it's enjoyable to try new things. And I think when I do a singing job, it helps my acting. And when I go and I do a play or, do a dance, some type of dance thing, it helps my piano playing. It all helps. Like I stretch before I play the piano. People are always like, why are you stretching before you play the piano? Because my whole body, is involved in that.
Right.
If my leg is tight or, not free, my arms and my hands are not going to be free, and it's going to be, I won't play as well,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
The sensitivity, I think.
So now where can everybody listen to and find Jersey Christmas and see Jersey Christmas music video?
You can go to, if you go to youtube.com/Ben Rauch Music, BENRAUCH Music, you can find the Jersey Christmas music video there, and my Facebook fan page is Ben Rauch Updates there, and so those are the two places you can check it out, and iTunes, Spotify, anywhere the digital music is streamed.
Okay, so people they can download the song from there.
Yeah, you can buy it on iTunes or play it on Spotify if you have a Spotify account, and it'll stream.
Well, I think everybody should. It's a week until Christmas, and this song really, it sounds Christmassy. It has a Springsteen vibe, but yet it is all Ben Rauch. I mean, I think it is the perfect holiday tune to add to your playlist.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope everyone enjoys it.
Ben, this has been an absolute treat. Tell me you will come back when your album drops.
That would be amazing. I would love to come back.
Wonderful. Then we can talk, because by then I will have listened to every song on there, and we can really nitpick about New Jersey.
Awesome. That sounds good. We'd love to do that, right?
All right. Ben, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was Ben Rauch with Jersey Christmas. And Brian, can we pick up and play a little bit more of that?
Yeah, so let's play one of our PCAs, and then we'll lead into the song. Or should we do song and then PCA?
Let's do the song, and we'll go into a PSA.
Okay. All right, so this is Jersey Christmas, which you can download, which is pretty cool because I like this song.
Yes, on iTunes, Spotify, yes, indeed.
All right, so here it is.
Welcome to Christmas, Jersey style. Let me tell you how it goes. Our Santa don't say ho, he says hey, hey, hey. He's gonna sling his gifts from Newark down the shore to Cape May. Blasting Bon Jovi out the back of his sleigh. A gang of kids yank off his beat at the mall. As we carol around the cul-de-sac, we yell, we don't sing. The bells here don't go ding-dong, they go bada bing. Oh, come all you people, we got 2 days to spare. And if you smell something rotten, it's the Delaware air. So crank up some Springsteen and play that Santa song loud. Just like the boss, I'm Jersey proud. Let's have an old-fashioned Jersey Christmas. Deck out in that Jersey way. Let's have an old-fashioned Jersey Christmas. Forget about our problems and be before our day. Watch Rudolph the red-nosed get so bombed he can't steer. Line up the peppermint schnapps, we've been behaving all year. So let's eat pizza and then play some skee-ball. Meeting Elf down at the diner for a late-night bite. Hear Frankie Valli's on the jukebox singing Silent Night. If it weren't for it, I sing we'd be in the dark. With his twinkling lights, yeah, he gave us this spark. Who needs to self-serve? No need to pump your own gas. Make a right turn on red, bust out that easy pass. Let's have an old-fashioned Jersey Christmas. Deck out in that Jersey way. Let's have an old-fashioned Jersey Christmas. Forget about our problems of even for a day. I want that old-fashioned Jersey Christmas. Sing fa-la-la-la in the Garden State. So take a turn like this Jersey Christmas. Even Santa bought a condo up for exit 8. Let's have an old-fashioned Jersey Christmas. Deck out in that Jersey way. Let's have an old-fashioned Jersey Christmas. Forget about our problems even for a day. I want that old-fashioned Jersey Christmas. Sing fa-la-la-la in the Garden State. So take a turn like this Jersey Christmas. Even Santa bought a condo up for exit 8. But if you're taking Jersey trains, you know you're coming late. Sing fa-la-la in the Garden State.
And we are back. Welcome back to Behind the Lens. I'm Elias, film critic, creator, and host of Behind the Lens. You can find us every week live on adrenalineradio.com, Mondays, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. The audio for today's show will be up later today on my website, moviesharkdoubler.com. It will be on iTunes. Yes, we have an iTunes channel. It will be up. And then we shoot everything with 2 cameras and do post-production. So you'll get to see a video with the show and a little clip insert, image inserts of our guest Ben Rauch's wonderful music video, Jersey Christmas. And that's probably about 10 days to 2 weeks down the road. But other than that, you'll be able to hear all of this. And a huge thanks to Ben for calling in today. That was fabulous. A great Christmas treat.
I want to add real quickly that he just called back right now to say thank you.
Oh,
And that's the first time that's ever happened.
wow.
And I that guy was so cool. I just wanted to say that on air.
Oh,
that-
that's so sweet.
Of how cool he is. He called back and really was appreciative, and we appreciate you, Ben.
Yes. And yes, Ben, as all of our guests have open invitations to come back anytime, since they're always busy and they're always working and they always have something new to talk about.
That's a cool part about the people that we've had on, is that they're constantly working on new projects, and it's fun to watch them progress forward with new adventures and ventures like that. I like it. I like the show.
Well, I like it too. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I'm starting to like it. 2 years in, I'm barely starting to kind of.
We're starting 3 years, January.
Yeah, I'm barely starting to kind of get used to
Oh,
it.
jeez. But something else that we both like, and we started talking about at the top of the show, Rogue One.
Misa Chacha Pinks. You are listening to Behind the Lens.
Well, yes, you are. Jar Jar is right. And I had the good fortune. I've been doing a lot of interviews on the potential awards films for this year. And let me tell you, there's some fabulous, fabulous films there. There's some fabulous talent there. And somebody that I can now cross off my bucket list for the first time, he's going back on the bucket list, is cinematographer Greg Fraser. Greg, 2 films. If you want a great double feature to see the depth and scope of Greg Fraser's cinematography, his skill set, Lion, starring Dev Patel, the true story of Saru Brierley, who is a little boy in India at 5 years old, was on the streets, was taken, put into an orphanage, eventually adopted by an Australian family, and many years later, haunted by dreams of, he couldn't remember his family, he couldn't remember where he lived. He just had little landmarks that he recalled. And thanks to Google Maps, he actually was able to locate his home and reunite with his birth mother. It is a film that you don't realize. In most films, you get choked up when they're very emotional. This one, within 2 frames of seeing the young actor Sunny Pawar, who plays the young Saru Brierley, with Dev Patel playing the adult, just within a few frames of seeing this little boy's face, you are osmotically moved to the point that tears are streaming down your face and you didn't even realize it until your shirt's getting wet. It is powerful. It is incredible. And Greg did the cinematography on it, as he also did for Rogue One. So obviously I had to take advantage of the interview time and ask him about the 2 films. Because of the fact we do have Rogue One opening, we have Lion.
Yep.
The one is a super spectacular CGI heavy laden film. We have the other that is all about natural light, humanity,
Yep.
the human experience, the emotional experience.
Yep.
Which one do you prefer, if either, and what is the most challenging and gratifying for you?
I'm going to be like, I'm going to plead the fifth. I think neither is more challenging than the other. And I think actually what people's expectations of Rogue One are, it's less CG than maybe people might think. I think it's more, what I'm keen for people to see, especially people who have any interest in cinematography, is to watch Lion and to watch Rogue, and to tell me what the similarities are. Because I think, I don't see many differences between them. I actually don't see. I mean, where they're set, yes, all those big things. There's not many differences. They're ultimately the same. At their core, they're about characters and about your relationships. And the fact that one does have full CG shots of ships blowing up other ships in space. Throw that away. If you take all the space battle away, and you end up with just the stuff that's between actors, I think it's the same film. I mean, not story. Obviously, the story is incredibly different.
But it's the
same.
The human interaction.
It's got the same. It's got the same place. It comes from the same place. So, for me, 2015, I shot both Lion and Star Wars. To me, it's a blur right now of those 2 worlds. Now, yes, okay, India is India, and Pinewood is Pinewood. Like I remember being in an X-wing. I remember being in.
You looked at your frequent flyer miles. You knew you did it.
Yes. But at its core, working with Devon Rooney on a mattress in Melbourne versus working with Felicity, in a cockpit of one of the spaceships. I mean, okay, yes, one's in a spaceship and one's on a mattress, but they're the same. It's the same. It's all the same. It's beautiful.
I'm seeing it Monday night.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I'm very anxious because of having just seen Lion.
Yeah.
And it's for that very reason, because I love to be able to look at, a cinematographer, a director, and look at the similarities and differences in their work, especially when between genres, so to speak.
I'd love to know what you think of the differences. I'd love to know what you think, like the technically what the differences are, and also just the just.
I would love to. I would love to let you know what they are. And of course, Greg and I have been in touch since I have seen Rogue One, now my 3rd showing, going into my 4th. And to find out what I think of his technical differences, well, you'll have to go to moviesharkdeblore.com and check out the interview and my comments on Rogue One. But while I was talking to Greg, because we were there officially for doing press for Lion, I had a chance to speak with the composers, Volker Bertelmann and Dustin O'Halloran, now Golden Globe nominees for Best Original Score, to find out how they created and melded the worlds of India, Australia, and different time periods. Your score, the music, and your use of piano in this score is so beautiful.
Thank you.
It is so beautiful. I have to ask you, because you have 2 very distinct worlds and 3 very distinct tonal segmentations. You've got India, you've got Australia, then you've got the small child, the adult, and a little convergence there in the middle. How do you sit down and approach creating a melodic soundscape to go with this story?
Well, I think in this case we just refused to think about all of that, because in a way we felt like the story is quite a linear story, and moments that are happening in his childhood somehow are coming back in, when he's an adult. So a lot of, in a way, music, we used a lot of themes, for example, in a way for flashbacks, even though there was no flashback. You can actually see which scenes are connected, and Garth Davis was a very big help with that, because he, in a way, pinpointed all the scenes out where he felt like this, for example, in his childhood, this scene is connected when he's searching for home, and there he sees the water tower, and we have to start something there that comes back later. So in a way that helped us, like in a big time, to connect musically, but at the same time I think it was good not to go too deep into this kind of structure that was in the film, because I think that there's a flow in it, and in a way you don't feel like it's a very wide gap between the childhood and his adult part, and at the same time the music changes. It gets clearer and maybe more adult, towards the end.
It does, and that's something that, especially in the beginning, because you almost went against type. In the beginning, you've got a child, he's energetic, he's running, he's all over the place, and yet we're hearing simple piano notes, which, number one, they do remind you of a child, but it's the opposite of the vibrancy and the freneticism of life that we're seeing. And I just thought that was so beautifully executed.
Well, I think for most of the score, you're following him the entire film, and it's always his experience, and so everything is very internal. It's a very internal score as well. It's not about scoring the picture ever, really. It's about scoring where he's at, what he's feeling, his passage, his spiritual connection that he feels with his mother, all of the sense of momentum that he's feeling there's the main theme that opens the film is sort of sets the pace of the journey. And the film is, in a way, also the film has a kind of destiny ideas. I mean, the sense that, like, all of these things that happened, was it destined to happen? Was, the fact that he was able to find, and so there's a real spiritual sense of the film that everything had happened, would happen. That's the part of the film that gets interesting, is that the fact that there's this conclusion to it, but like how he grew up and who he became, all from these things that, these series of events that he could have died, he could have, there's so many things that could have happened to him, and but in the end it just feels like destiny in a way. So there's that, we used that was a big discussion in the score as well, like creating these links.
So we'll have to stay tuned for the Golden Globes and see if Volker and Dustin pick up an award for their score of Lion. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Rogue One, see it. And that's all the time we have. We will be back next week, the day after Christmas, with live in-studio guests. Until then, I'm Debbie Elias. This is Behind the Lens.